Smells like football, baby.
What's up, guys? Welcome into Waiver Wire Sniping here on the Dynasty Warzone Network. I'm your host, Kyle August. Good to be back. Of course, you can be following me on Twitter at KyleMonth8. Appreciate Dallas holding down the fort this week for me, but wanted to make sure to get this Waiver Wire Sniping to you guys ahead of Week 15. That's right. We are already looking ahead to the first week of the playoffs. You guys are probably riding on easy street. You have that first round bye locked up already, but in case you don't, these are the players you can stash right now. Obviously, we're getting towards the end of the season here, so some of these players are purely just speculative ads. Like, you are looking for the handcuffs, pretty much at this point. Maybe you're streaming QB and tight end down the stretch, but either way, I got you covered. So with that, let's just dive right into this thing. Of course, this is the final week heading into Week 14, final week of bye week. So teams on bye in Week 15, none, and it's good to be back at full strength. So hopefully everybody will be ready to go for that first round of the playoffs. Let's take a look at the QB streamers. I got 4 of them for you for Week 15. Again, in case this is your first time checking out the show for whatever reason, these are the players that you can stash now on the end of your bench using that last bench spot or two to grab these guys before everybody's looking for them on the waiver wire next week. Obviously, very difficult these days with all the COVID players and guys getting ruled out. But if you can stash some guys, here's what you should be looking at. Taysom Hill, not on the injury report, expected to play this week for the Saints. And if he's a starting quarterback for the Saints, he is a starting quarterback for your fantasy team. He's a top 12 QB out of the gate. We saw what he did against Dallas. He was horrendous, but for fantasy, he was awesome. And he's 48% owned, so he makes this list under the 50% threshold. So Taysom Hill against Tampa in Week 15 would be my top streaming option. Tua coming back off the bye. Miami's down bye this week. They get the Jets coming off. 32% owned. Tua may or may not have Myles Gaskin, but either way, Tua's been fine for fantasy and somebody that you can stream, especially in a plus matchup. Number 3 on this list is Jimmy G going up against the Falcons again, plus matchup for him. We've seen him even perform without Deebo Samuel, but Deebo might even be back this week. So I'm okay if you have to stream Jimmy G in the first round of your playoffs if you're stuck. And then Taylor Heineke against the Eagles, 35% owned. Maybe a little bit higher floor than Tua or Jimmy G if the ceiling's not necessarily there. So that's why I have him at number 4. Running back stashes. This is pretty much where you get it, man. This is where we need to be stashing some of the high value handcuff players. And some of these guys' ownership has jumped over the last few days, especially with guys being ruled out. Number 1 on this list, though, is Jeff Wilson. I know he was a little bit banged up. Now on the does not carry an injury designation heading into Week 14. And with Elijah Mitchell already ruled out, Wilson is expected to see the entire workload as far as the lion's share of it. They might work in JaMychal Hasty as well, but Wilson should be the guy for the 49ers. And at 46% owned, he should not be on anybody's waiver wire. You do not want this guy being picked up by your potential opponent in Week 15 or even 14. So stash him now, grab him now. Then there's a little bit of a fall off here. Obviously, Wilson's owned in a lot of leagues. All these guys are available in about 75% or more of leagues. So number 2 for me is Amir Abdullah. Remember, CMC's out for the year. We haven't seen Carolina since CMC was ruled out. They headed into their bye week, and then they fired their offensive coordinator. Abdullah was out touching Hubbard the last few weeks and being used as kind of the primary backup to CMC. Now, Hubbard was obviously the man early in the year when CMC missed time. But for now, I'm still stashing Abdullah just to see. If you get 60% of the workload, again, this is a running back that you do not want on the waiver wire. If at this point in the season, I'm using all available roster spots that I have on running back handcuffs, just like this. If anything, just to protect myself against my opponent's running back going down and potentially needing to pick up an Amir Abdullah or number 3 on this list, Samaje Perine at 20% owned. Mixon's a game time decision, sounding like he's going to go, but regardless, Perine would skyrocket up rankings if Mixon was to miss any time at all. This is a guy that you need to be looking to stash. Cleo Herbert, same thing. This guy flashed earlier this year when given the opportunity with David Montgomery. Montgomery's coming into the week a little bit banged up. So Herbert, again, is a guy that I'm stashing because if Montgomery goes down, Herbert's a guy that is going to be extremely valuable to whatever team already has him rostered. So again, not wishing any injuries on any players. We want, honestly, my thing is I want to play everybody at full strength, right? So I don't necessarily want to see my opponent go down. because they lost their running back. But at the same time, I'm not going to take an L because I let Samaje Perine or Cleo Herbert sit on the wire. And then, the Mixon or Montgomery owner gets to pick these guys up. If they want to protect themselves, they can add them. But what I'm doing is I'd be blocking these guys. So those would be the two high value handcuffs I would definitely take a look at. And Jamar Jefferson from the Detroit Lions as well. Godwin, something I can't pronounce last name for the Lions as well, is available in PPR leagues. But Jefferson's still a guy I'm trying to target if I can. With Jamal Williams put on COVID injured reserve on Friday late in the week. We'll see what his status would be going forward. Swift doesn't seem to be close yet, but making progress. So Jefferson would be another guy that I would add. But this is definitely the order I would put these guys in if you're stashing Wilson, Abdullah, Perine, Herbert, and Jefferson. Again, do not take a loss because you wasted an extra roster spot on Marvin Jones. Like, are you going to play Marvin Jones at all? No, then get rid of him. Add these guys, see what happens. You can go find Marvin Jones again on the wire. You have a backup quarterback you're not going to use down the stretch. Cut him. Go add these running backs. That's what you need to be doing this time of year. Trim that fat off and get your roster ready to go. You know who you're starting. So use those extra roster spots wisely. Wide receiver position, not a whole lot here, to be honest. Most of the guys that are under 50% owned, you want them to be under 50% owned. There's not a lot of good there. But you could take a shot on the two Lions guys. Amon-Ra St. Brown, obviously coming up with a big clutch catch for the Lions, picked up their first victory, 10-plus targets for him. The rookie coming into his own just a bit. He's 11% owned. Josh Reynolds also showing up okay if you're in deeper leagues. He's 8% owned. Curtis Samuel at 13% owned, still working his way back from injury. Just haven't seen enough snaps for him yet to really consider him much, but he is a guy that I, would stash if you're in maybe a PPR league. But again, I'm probably prioritizing not only these Detroit wide receivers, but I would prioritize pretty much all those other running backs as well. Tight end streamers, there's some decent options heading into week 15. Ricky Seals-Jones, he looks to be healthy and back as Logan Thomas is now out for the year. So it could be the RSJ show again for the Washington football team as they go up against the Eagles in week 15. And at 16% owned, RSJ is available everywhere. So if you're a Logan Thomas owner and you're looking for a replacement, this could be your guy, RSJ. Nice and easy. Gerald Everett, after his miserable day last week, he gets the Rams in week 15. I like the target numbers. I don't necessarily like pretty much almost anything else about what's been going on with Gerald Everett in the last week or so. It's a tougher matchup against the Rams, but I'm okay taking a shot at Everett. And then Foster Moreau's number 3 on this list against the Cleveland Browns at 17% owned, assuming Darren Waller is going to be out again. He did not practice at all this week and has already been ruled out for week 14. Side note, Conklin for the Vikings would probably be a consideration here as well when we're talking the waiver wire next week. But since the Vikings have already played, he's not eligible for this snipe strategy. So just keep that in mind. If you don't like, if Ricky Seals-Jones already picked up, you don't like Everett or Moreau, you could wait it out and just pick up Conklin once the waivers run next week. And we'll obviously be talking about here on this very channel. DST streamers, I got 2 of them for you. Miami Dolphins, again, they're on the buy, so they were dropped in some leagues. They're sub 50 now, 46% owned. They're going to be at home coming off the buy against the Jets. There you go. Top streamer by far. If you have an extra roster spot and you play in a league with DSTs, that is the team to stash for sure. Cincinnati Bengals, I wanted to give you at least one more. They're only 15% owned. They're playing the Denver Broncos, not inept offense. So if the Dolphins aren't available, you can go grab the Bengals. All right, that's it. Waiver wire sniping for week 15 here. Best of luck to all you guys in week 14. If you need that W to get in those playoffs, go get it, make it happen. And all you got to do is just get in. You never know, man. It all comes down to just 1 week matchups the rest of the way. So you don't need to be the strongest team in order to take home a championship. It goes both ways. I've had teams that are really good that don't get it done, and teams that are crap have no business winning championships, but somehow they do. So continue to make sure that you're setting strong lineups. Even if you're out of it this week, I would say, I didn't talk about this in the show because I was off this week, but if you're out of it and it's week 14, man, and if you're still watching this, thank you. But if you have leagues that you're out of it, still make sure to just set those lineups the best you can. Dynasty obviously might be a little bit different, but always go in there, try to play spoiler. So good luck to all you guys in week 14. I will be back here next Tuesday with the Waiver Wire show heading into week 15. Best of luck. See you guys.